We both probably should have seen this coming. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Wolfpack on yet another daily vlog. Today's question is going to be whether or not, or does Andromeda's Edge fit on the Sunnygeeks table? Now I've actually had this question several times. It's just funny because I didn't include Andromeda's Edge in the original video and both the overview video and the commercial because I just wanted to show a bunch of other different games, but I probably should have seen this coming when so many people have asked me, so does Andromeda's Edge fit on here? Does Oathsworn fit on here? Now Oathsworn I did answer because it clearly fits on here with the campaign video that I showed, and also with the 4-player setup, it definitely fits. And Oathsworn is a big game. But then it also got me wondering too, I haven't had Andromeda's Edge set up on here anyway, and naturally, how can we not have that set up on a table like this? So right now, what I actually have set up originally is I've been playing a ton of Vantage, and this is why my video is a bit late on that one, because I really wanted to make sure that I had a lot of hours racked in and I have all my thoughts settled in. I'm kind of getting there. I'm getting towards the last stretch. I want to get a couple more nights of Vantage played in, and then we will get that settled and get that review out. But overall, I'm having so much fun with this game, and I don't need to do this many hours to get my thoughts around it, but I think it's an excuse for myself to just keep playing. This side right now actually has Oathsworn set up because I've been wanting to get some more solo plays of this one, and I ended up just setting it up for pictures and video only. Haven't actually had a chance to play through this one just yet, but I will hopefully, and I say this again and again, hopefully we'll get this one continued to play after Vantage is done, since this is fresh and out. I really want to get this video out soon. Oathsworn will be the one next to be played solo gaming for fun right after that. Okay, right before I get this time lapse out of getting both these games put away and Andromeda's Edge set up, I wanted to go ahead and announce the winner for the Andromeda's Edge giveaway, which is going to be right here. Huge congratulations, and thank you all so much for joining me on every single daily vlog that you all have been watching for the past, what are we at now, 40 days now? And this last giveaway was to celebrate the 30 days of continuous daily vlogging that I've done, and just to say thank you. Always grateful to have all of you to be watching all of my random rants and spews of who knows what every single day, every single morning at 10 a.m. A huge congrats to our epic winner. Please go ahead and email me at photography@timchuan.com and I'll go ahead and get this game out to you, or a gift card if I can't for some reason ship it out to you. But with that said, let's get on to the time lapse. Okay, now debating what color to use for this table topper, since I've used this green a ton already. Haven't used this kind of royal blue just yet. I kind of want to save red in case I end up doing a gameplay for Black Rose Wars. And gray has been used from the beginning too, so I think we haven't used this one yet. No, this is not a sponsored video, but I mean, you can't lie, that makes it very easy to set up. So you know how massive this game is, so naturally, it's a great question to ask whether or not this huge giant space game will fit on the Sunnygeeks table, especially since the campaign is live right now. So what I'm gonna do first is, I'll just walk you through how I typically set this up. Now it would be nice if Andromeda's Edge had a playmat. They might have it, hopefully in the next campaign, because that would be wonderful to see. But let's say I set up for, let's just do the max. I'll do a 5-player game. Now, I didn't hear this complaint too much, but I know a lot of people didn't like that the main board was on the bottom. I get that, but I mean, if you take out those components and the entire lid like this, we now have the main board in about 5 seconds. So I didn't think it was too much of a big deal. Okay, so right now I have pretty much stuff in place, and I think we're pretty much good to just say okay, because at least you get the general layout of what it looks like. Oh, we know that's a lie. 1 second. And this right here is the final setup. So it is way too nice for me to just take pictures of it with a phone. So I'm like, okay, let me use the Fujifilm X100 VI. But then the Fujifilm also has too much stylized looks in it because of the film simulators where you don't really have to edit in post. And for this particular setup, I don't think it works really well because there's like a summer chrome look, which is like a little too brown and too filmic. And Andromeda's Edge, with it being a space theme, I think that doesn't fit at all. And the other one that I have is kind of like an anime inspired look, but then it brings out too much of the blues to make it look teal and everything. So I'm like, okay, long story short, let me make this just more neutral. So Q3, we're gonna shoot some Q3 photos with this. Can't ever go wrong with that, right? All right, let me go ahead and walk you through this setup. Okay, first off, this is a 5-player setup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th player is actually facing this way, and then of course I would move the box out of the frame. But this is pretty much how I would normally set up for a game like this. I think one big question when you're setting up for a game like this is how do you position the board? I like to position it to the player that is in the odd for this. So since everyone is facing the side of the board, it's easier to read the sides, and even though it's further away for the 5th player to reach, at least they can read everything and then just ask different players to, move their score markers or see these trays from far away. And then I have a variety of different player stations shown here. So this first one, we have 3 cards that you can hide in the magnetic trays for the Sunnygeeks. And then in front, I have the player boards. Each person is kind of responsible for something different, which is actually how a game day would work for me in this case. So I have the green player in charge of the developments, and then these Raider dice would switch out to different players, of course. I actually took out the individual player trays because I figured you could just roll in these magnetic trays instead of the ones that came with the game. And then you also have the dice tower, which you could put in between these two, which is super fun. Obviously that's super fun because then you can just take the dice and then roll them into the dice tower. And what's cool about this dice tower is that you can share it between 2 different players. I also like to have resources right in the middle so that way 2 players on each side can share their resources. Now, I guess the main issue that I do have to point out is that with the nature of a game like this, it's so big. So because of that, you're going to build out your modules in a way that may not be the most convenient. So if I were to use just this player tray on the board instead of this wooden plank here, then I'm going to run out of space. And then that means that this player tray is going to sit on some of the scoring track numbers. I've obviously have played this game when it's not on a Rascal's table. It doesn't bother me at all because then you just know exactly what number it is by just putting it a little bit above that. It's just that Andromeda's Edge is such a big game that not every table is going to accommodate for that. But you can accommodate for this if you just end up using the boards that fit into the Sunnygeeks. So then on the opposite side to this, you're going to have these kind of player stations. So instead of putting them flat onto the game cellar, you can also put them with this wooden insert that I've talked about before. So what this is that there are 2 of these magnetic trays, one on the bottom, and there's also one on the top. And then you put this player tray to fit on top. Now this is really nice because it does elevate literally the player experience, and I love that because then you can put your player aids here, you can put your tactics cards here, you can put up a privacy screen, those metal ones that can go from left to right and middle. Not that you really need it for a game like this, you can if you want to hide your tactics cards. But then the issue is, again, the board is huge, so it's going to build either left or right. In this case, I'm showing it building that way, so the most you can fit on a player board like this is 3 modules. For a game like this, of course, since it's so massive and when you build out your engine, it's going to be crazy. So then after 3, you just are going to have to stack up these individual modules if you're using this particular add-on from Rascalers. Now this dice tray would normally sit in between two different trays, but here you can also just stand it up without it having sit in anything, and it would still work just as fine, because then you would have dice rolling in, on the left and right like this. Here's another different add-on. Normally you would have to put like a phone here, and if in case you want to use a wired charging, it would go in between these holes. But then I never use any kind of wires. I try to avoid wires at all times. So this is not something I would particularly use as well. But then same idea here, because you can still fit your player aid and then 3 tactics cards. Most of us by this point don't even use these player aids. The only time I ever use this actually is just for scoring, because I never remember how to score each one by one. And then you can just have this entire board with full of tactics cards once your hand limit raises by going up the civilization track. This person too, the purple player, also will be in charge of the events board, moving this up and down, which is perfectly fine, and then also summoning the raiders as they get onto the board, which fits since these events are regulating the raiders anyway. Last thing is, this is the player that normally I would be in charge of. So for the yellow player, maybe I can put like hot tea or whatever kind of beverage here. I do have some drink stations just to show you what it would normally look like. I can have 2 drinks here. I can have drinks on the other side of the table, right side. There's also one over there on the left side, which you can fit another cup right there. This side, I usually put the most inexperienced player, which is probably me in this case, since I'm teaching and guiding the game. So I wouldn't even need this. Instead, I just have my cards here. I could put them underneath this tray, so if I want to just put a bunch of my pieces here, I can. But then I do really love the armrest. Like if it's one add-on that you get, it's the armrest, because this is just so soft, really easy on your elbows, especially when you're playing all day. And yeah, this one can also build out to the right, so you have more space this way. And this is how a final setup would look like. We have 2 of the wooden boards combined on that side. We have the magnetic trays on this side. We have a 5th player set up here. If you don't have a 5th player setup, of course, anything below that will be much easier. You also could turn on your lights whenever you want. So I have the remote inside this magnetic tray. Like everything fits. Bottom line, everything would pretty much fit. That last 10% is just squeezing in the modules and tactics, which just comes in with the nature of the game itself. And if you truly want everything to have full space, then you would just put the dining toppers on top and then play with just a flat surface, which is, fine. Like we play with that flat surface to begin with, and then we take everything off to get to the heavier games like this. Is normally how I would play. Jesus, I mean, this game looks beautiful on this table, which is why I had to take pictures too, because this setup is just so nice with the game and the table combined. 2 incredible companies. Again, not a sponsored video, but I hope that helps you decide in whatever you end up doing for the Sunnygeeks campaign, which is live now. Again, I will leave links down in the description below if you want to check it out. If you have any other questions about like the size and the overall fit of different games on this table, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. And if you made it to the very, very end, go ahead and comment. Comment Genesis for the upcoming campaign that has been officially announced by Carpet Alchemy. The expansion is coming soon, and it's crazy, y'all. It is crazy. I can't wait, obviously. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching another daily vlog, and I will see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you then.